Hey guys, long time no updates from me, right? I've been working on editing my Firbank making off video, the pink linen dress, and it's been very, well, I don't know if I could say boring, but sewing videos are really strenuous to edit. I thought it might be nice to, I don't know, make a little update on what I'm working on right now. This, as you can see, this is the Norway front lacing stays pattern, and I've already prepared this. So yesterday I put all the pieces together, and as you can see I've already started putting in the boning. I've also prepared the other undergarments, although they're not completely finished. And I know I'm very behind. I should have done this like a week ago, or well, whatever. So far we have this pile here, which I just shoved onto my bed. Yeah, the pocket hoops, which have been set together. I just need to attach them to the waistband, and I need to replace the top bone. What happens is basically that it gets pushed back, so this part goes inward here, even though it's not supposed to. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like hand gather this in place. And yeah, this is just the petticoat. Not much to see, just a rectangle, literally, that I've put together at the sides. Work expands to fill the time available, and I've been feeling that because we got 3 weeks extension on our projects. So I was like, oh, like I've got time. But no, I don't. I need to get on with this. So no more talking. I'll get to work, and then later on I'll report on my current status or whatever. I've now boned the entire stomacher. It is heavy, but I think it's looking quite good already. I'm really happy with it so far. Back from lunch, motivation still high, so that's really good. Apparently this vlog thing is really helping me keep my spirits up. I don't know why. Maybe it's like the imposter syndrome of me having to pretend that I'm productive, and that is then actually making me productive. Who knows? Okay, so I don't know if I'm an idiot about this or if there's just not a good way to do this, but I realized that I hadn't thought about how to put those bones in, because obviously there's the side seam, and here's the, well, it's closed off at the bottom. (11 p.m) It's late. I'm gonna stop now. That's enough. Let's quickly have a look at what I've managed to accomplish today. So, these are the stays so far. The boning is in, except for the tabs. I'm gonna do that tomorrow, probably. All the pieces are put together, and I'm currently in the progress of slip stitching everything and then stitching it down like I've done here. So I will continue that tomorrow. There's currently this construction site outside of my house, which, as you can hear, or I don't know if you can hear it, is very loud, and I'm very annoyed by it. But at least there's also some good news, because as I was decluttering my door and got rid of all of those bags that usually hang there and that are like really old and really ugly, I just like randomly found 10 euros. Like, thank past me for putting that in there. I was looking for a thimble, but the only one that I had was this one, which is one of those touristy thimbles. I'm gonna try and see if my mom has one that works. Oof. Okay, that wasn't a success. We just gotta use this boy, I guess. Burp. So I just had a nap for a few hours because I was really tired for some reason, and then I had some tea with my parents on the terrace. Yeah, I'm also kind of procrastinating the next step, which is putting in the eyelets, because I have eyelets that are very big for some reason. Yeah, so I have this, which is quite big, so it says 5mm, but then the rim is quite thick. So overall that's like 1 centimeter, and I'm reluctant to put that in. What I'm gonna do, instead of solving my problems, is I'm gonna be working on something else. A while ago, my old maths teacher gave me a few fabrics that she found in her house that she no longer needed, and I thought that was so nice, so I've wanted to make something as a little thank you, especially because she contacted my mom again and said she found even more fabrics and asked whether I wanted them. I don't know what I did to deserve this. I was a horrible student at maths, at least. But yeah, so we're gonna go over to her house tomorrow to pick those up. And I thought, why not make one of those little elves? I don't actually remember who it was. I think it was Noelle from Costuming Drama suggested I make a video on how to make those, but I thought making a whole video just for those elves wouldn't really be appropriate because it's such a small project. So I think I'm just gonna tuck it in this vlog, quickly explain how I make them, and that's that. Okay, the pattern is really simple. So this is the base. This is going to be cut from white fabric, which actually only shines through here where the face is going to be. And then I cut this part and the little hat from a different fabric so that they're hopefully a bit more colourful. And the base is cut to match this. So it really is just part of a circle. And then when you sew it together here on this side, it makes this cone shape, and when you put it on top of the circle, it should be able to stand. I just can't hold it in the right shape. And I've cut this one double just for a bit more stability. Okay, now that I've ironed everything, I'm basically just going to put some pins here around this edge, here and here to put it down, and then I'm going to go over to the sewing machine, pick some sort of decorative stitch and just stitch that down. This one. Maybe I should have picked a color that has more of a contrast, like a green, but anyways, it's done now. Next step would be sewing this seam together, making sure that these really line up. That's what it looks like sewn together, everything lined up. I've clipped this corner as well to make sure that we can turn it and it looks neat. And I would also recommend cutting this seam down to like, I don't know, 1/2 centimeter or something, just so it looks a bit nicer when you then turn it. Now that it's stuffed, what I'm gonna do is basically fold those seams inwards and close that remaining gap with a few hand stitches. And then what I just realized, what I should have put on earlier, I'm gonna sew on the decoration where I want it to be. Although I would actually recommend doing that before you sew the seam, because that's gonna make it a lot easier to finish off. I think I might have found a solution to my problem. What I'm basically doing is I undid these 3 seams. So I'm gonna remove this bone completely, and I'm gonna close the center front by folding the fabric inwards like this, stitching it down. So I'm gonna reinsert this bone here at the front, and then the space in between those two is going to be the space for the eyelet. That should then hopefully give it enough space. Oh, and also, of course, if I have more space here and I can sort of put the eyelet in the middle, that's also going to give me space to attach the strap, which is kind of weird because in the drawing it's just there. It doesn't say how it's attached, it's just floating. What is happening? I stayed up till 11 last night trying to make up for the time I spent napping yesterday afternoon. What I did was I finished off the fronts here, tacked everything, hand stitched this together, and then machine stitched this to redo the boning channel, so we've now got space to put in the eyelets. And later today, around 10, when my mum's back, I'm gonna go visit my old maths teacher and bring over the little elf that I made. Oh boy, I was just doing the eyelets and I think that came from here. And I also cut myself this morning, which is what this plaster is. On my tripod? How does one even do that? Time for a fabric haul. Allegedly this is from the 30s or something. And I think these are cushion covers or something. But I don't know, I think this could probably work for something 18th century, maybe? And we've got this, which I think are also cushion covers. These are curtains. And then this, which is obviously the best part. I think it's polyester, but this would be so perfect for, like, you know, 18th century stays or something. These are cushion covers, by the way, but it's probably enough fabric to make a pair of stays out of it. I mean, if you look at that. And then obviously it's 2 sides. My sewing style is really messy, so usually I would just drop everything on the floor and there it'll stay for a while until I manage to clean everything up. So the threads also stick to my shoes like this because they're felt, and oh yeah, this has been open for a while and I just have not felt like fixing it so far, so that's what it looks like. And yeah, my parents got really mad about this at some point because I just kept on spreading all of the stuff, like all the threads over the house, and they were like, oh, we just cleaned it today, why is it all dirty again? So they forced me to put this mat in front of my room. The threads stick to that mat, and therefore they don't really, well, it kind of prevents them from leaving my room. Theoretically, in actuality that doesn't really work. So what they now did this morning was basically I got another pair of shoes. So whenever I leave my room I have to get rid of those shoes, switch to the other shoes, and then from there on I can leave. So yeah. Right, and a few hours later we're here. So I spent all afternoon putting on this boning. The straps are finished. This is all attached. Great. This is not done. For now, I'll just have a little break. Watch some YouTube videos and relax, and then I think later on I'll maybe work on the petticoat. We'll see. Good morning! It's already 11:30, so almost midday, because I went grocery shopping with my dad earlier and I haven't gotten anything else done this morning, so let's quickly get on to it. But before I do that, I think I'm gonna need to do a bit more research on what I want my decoration to actually look like, because I still need to buy some of the materials for that. Currently my desk is a bit of a mess. I've got everything spread out, and I still need to clean this area up. But for now I'm just looking at my references here. I've got this book, which I highly recommend, by the way. It's in German, but you know, it's got good photos. So I think anyone would enjoy that. It's from the collection of the Kunstgewerbemuseum in Berlin. I also recommend going to see the exhibition that this is the catalogue for. The dresses are amazing and the photos in the catalogue are really good. So here I've spread out my fabric. I got this yellow silk taffeta from Procrastinating in London for like £10 a meter, which is so good. And I've got some decoration options, so definitely want to add flyer fringe. These are some samples I made a while ago and I still don't really know which ones I'm going to use. We'll see. I also thought it lacks a bit of color diversity, a bit more neutral colors, so I thought maybe I should add like a white fabric. This is one I have from my stash. It's just polyester, but I quite like the texture, or well, the stiffness of it. It's really nice, and it's probably the closest I can find to like a silk gauze, whatever you call that. So yeah, I might use that. I'm gonna make a sample and see how this goes. Okay, this is what I just quickly pleated, and I gotta say, I think it looks really good. Kind of surprised by myself, because usually I'm not a fringe person, but this is cute. I remembered I still had those golden elements in my stash, which are honestly just perfect. I think I'm gonna use those on the stomacher, because I've seen stomacher designs that have elements like those and they're so pretty. And I also have those, I don't know if they would fit, and especially if this would go together with the fly fringe, but you know, I'm just gonna do some experiments, we'll see what works. Welcome to my extremely professional schedule. I've just put down all the tasks that I want to do in the next few days. Usually I don't do this, but it's good practice to do this, so I'm probably just gonna start this again. We are in a bit of a dire situation right now, because we've just got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then my fittings here, the last date. So I need to have a gown by this date, and I want to have the decoration done by the formative, hopefully. So I've only got this and this week until the formative assessment, just to put all of my pictures together, prepare my presentation, etc, etc, and get everything ready for submission. Okay, I've got the specifics of my skirt design at least down, which is great. But I was trying to buy my threads for the fly fringe and why? There's no way I'm paying 15 euros just for shipping from the neighboring country. Like, no. Good news, I found at least 2 of the colors that I wanted on Etsy, and even from a German seller, so that's very cheap shipping. Yay! I do love being able to sew at least some parts of it with the machine. I don't know why, but sitting on the table just has this very specific vibe that no other sewing position can replicate. Not like I regularly do that, but once in a while. Just put in these bows for decoration and also to hold this together to attach the strap to the body. I still haven't finished the bottom and I haven't covered those. Don't know if I'll do that because I have like no time. This is basically everything I have to do today. I mean, finish binding, that's what we're gonna get onto. And then let's see how far we get with this. I'm done, we're done, everything's bound. Finally, the binding is finished. Not directly related to costume or anything like that. I'm getting my bachelor's degree in costume for theatre and screen. And now with the whole corona thing happening, I can't really get a job immediately after, because originally I just wanted to stay in London, hopefully work on film, because I've done theatre before and I want to try something new and really push myself in a different area. And then ultimately I wanted to do a master's degree next year. That's a bit more theoretical, goes a bit more into the museum area, because I'm really interested in curation and that kind of stuff. But now that it's pretty much impossible, or at least very unlikely, that I'm gonna get a job right after graduation, especially in England. My parents have said that I should enroll in another course, maybe do a different bachelor's degree, or at least just, you know, for the time being, do like a gap year or a few gap months. In a lot of countries this might not make sense, but in Germany the benefits you get outweigh the fees you have to pay to study. Plus, if you study, you get like a regional public transport ticket, which is for the whole state, which is really nice. So I'm currently looking at my local uni, which is like half an hour away from where I live, and they actually offer some really interesting courses that I might be interested in, like art history, or sociology. I might just enroll and then go there for a few months to fill my time, do something useful. And even while I study, I can still do work from home. I can still make costumes. I can always make costumes. I can make more videos. You know what? I might just apply, like, today. Okay, so I'm just filling in the form to apply for art history major and sociology minor. Both of those subjects don't require any specific qualifications, so you can just you can literally just sign up for it and you will probably get a spot, because there's not a huge demand for those. Back to business as usual. I'm gonna make the petticoat because I'm behind and I wanted to have the gown draped by the end of today, which is not gonna happen. Oh god, why did I do this to myself? But yeah, I'm just gonna drape, well, at least finish the petticoat today, and then I've got tomorrow and like half of Tuesday for the gown, which is not a lot of time, but we'll make do. Oh, why is this not working? Come on, please. This ended. I have to make a whole gown, or at least make a wearable gown that can be fitted until tomorrow afternoon, or should make that. It's not the end of the world if I don't, but I kind of want to stick to the schedule. Right, update. I've put in the slits at the top left and right. They're like, I think 20 centimeters, yeah, 20 centimeters deep. This is the front. The front has both this white cotton fabric and then the extra layer of taffeta. I haven't put the taffeta on the back because it's not going to be visible and I want to save fabric. So I've just put along this line. I'm going to sew along this line just to make sure that those fabrics are both one layer. And then I'm gonna drape it in the dress form and put in the pleats. Okay, I've done a bit of pleating just to kind of, I don't know, figure out how this is gonna go. And what I've figured out is that if we've got 68 divided by 4, each quarter needs to be pleated down to 17. Okay, I figured it out. This is 20.5 something centimeters long if you hold it correctly. So we're gonna need to reduce this by 3.5. Okay, now that I've established that I'm happy with all the pleating front and back, I'm just gonna sew across it to fix the pleats in place, and then I'm gonna overlock the top so we don't have this mess here going on. Okay, I just fit it myself. It's just that I'm an idiot and I forgot to film the whole thing that was going on here, but I've got photos that I will insert. So because I did my original stitching in a really long stitch length, what I'm gonna do now is basically remove all of those stitches, restitch it with a normal stitch length, making the alterations of course, and then I think I'm gonna transfer it to a paper pattern and cut it out from top fabric. Now that I've cleaned up the bodice, just cut down the seams a bit, made everything even, I think it's time to work on the center back. Basically what this is going to be is a lacing that can open up or, well, be made tighter. So if you gain weight or lose weight, or depending on how you lace a stomacher, you can still fit into the dress because everything that's over it is draped in Française style, like this. So that's not going to be an issue. I first come across this at Cosprop. I'll insert a picture here, and I thought that that was just the smartest thing to do because it gives so many opportunities for alteration. And originally I thought this was just a film or theatre technique that someone had built into it, but of course I was I was underestimating the people in the 18th century. Yeah. I managed to finish the lacing in the back of the lining, so the lining is actually done now. Then I managed to, well, managed to make a mistake when I cut those. So the way this works is basically that the lining is gonna stay in place, and then we're just gonna mount the top fabric pieces onto it one by one and kind of tack them in place, and then we'll drape the back over top. I actually already pinned this on, and then I realized that I did it incorrectly. So yes, it was too late, okay, it was like midnight. I also put this together. This is actually two pieces. I think they're like 1.70 meters long. Yeah, so this is for the train. Don't mind this piece here. This is just where I cut out that. In the American Duchess book, it said that this needs to be like 2 meters wide, and my fabric was like 140 or 150 something. So what I did was basically that I sewed two together, so this is lying double here, and it's actually like 3 meters wide. So what I did was just take something off the side, because we don't need all that width, we just need like this much until there or something. Next step is gonna be recutting those, sewing them on like by hand, and then sort of like ironing them down like this. Yeah, and then after ironing them, they're just gonna be hand sewn to the lining in the front and at the bottom here around this curve. And what I noticed is that this is really smartly cut, because I mean usually when you just fold something like this over, it wouldn't really lie flat, but because this is actually on the cross grain, it does stretch really nicely and the curve forms very naturally. Just for fun, I also draped a bit of stomacher. This is definitely not the finished version, you can see that. I'm just using like scrap ribbons. But so far I really like it. It looks quite period actually, which is surprising. Update, there is a back panel now. So I've draped this on the dress form first, just to make sure that all of those pleats sort of match up with the shoulder straps. Fast forward several steps from here. So I've done all of this, pleated, stitched it down with a few hand prick stitches. What I've done on one side is basically prick stitch the inside down as well, so that when it's on the dress form, this part that lies on the body is flat and flush to the body, and it's just the pleats that really jut out from the center. And yeah, the next step is going to be doing the same thing on the other side. I've pinned it in place already, and then cutting down the extra fabric here along this edge. My fitting is at 5 minutes, and this is what I have so far. The front skirt piece with this gore inserted. I just pre-stitched this morning, but I did it the wrong way around. It's not supposed to fold over like this, but rather the front is supposed to come over the back like this, and then this doesn't happen, and you can like smooth this out really nicely towards the side, which I haven't done, and now that I've pinned this, it actually makes perfect sense. It took me so long to figure this out. I think you're supposed to then like square this down just on the grain line, and there, yeah, on this grain line, this is basically your seam, so this is where you're gonna attach it to the gore. I think I finished the undergarments like 3 days ago, so 3 days for this gown. I am impressed by myself. It did actually go quite well. I mean, considering that at my first fitting, I only had like a mock-up of stays, an unfinished pair of panniers, and a loosely draped petticoat. Hi, this is editing me from the future. I just realized, why is there noise again? Oh my god. We'll just ignore it. I just realized that I forgot to film an outro and the video ended quite abruptly, so that's what I'm doing right now. I really started filming this on a whim on that one first day, and I noticed that my productivity really increased, and it was a lot of fun to do that, so thank you for staying with me to the end. I know it was a very long video. I won't be making a full making of video of this project, simply because both Camilla costumes and Enchanted Rose costumes have made really good making offs of the stays, and Enchanted Rose costumes also has made a whole video on the making of her Robe Française, in which she explains how she did it very well, and I did it quite similarly to her, so I think there's not really a point in making a whole video about that. The Firbank dress making off should be out very soon though. I just haven't finished it because it's a lot of work to really edit a proper video that's not like some sort of, oh my god, did I actually make a quarantine sewing vlog? But yeah, that will be out soon, so stay tuned for that. I've got my hand in a few days, so after that I'm finally free of my uni work and I can get a lot more video editing done. Bye bye!